good morning, good morning, good morning to you all. Happy Friday. Happy Figured Out Friday. Put TGIF in the chat. Michael Burke, put TGIF in the chat. Oh, Sherry gets excited when we do. I know Danny does. I mean, at her age, I was just like, oh, Friday couldn't come soon enough. I was ready to rock and roll. Let me just tell you. And then there's Amy Kane, who just wants to show her arms. And I'm like, thank goodness I did my curls today. I got my curls in. Good morning to everybody. Good morning to you all. Guys, if you could be on video today, please be on video because I like to see smiling faces. John Hart sends me text messages all the time. He's like, man, could you just get him on video more? Can you get him on video more? He wants to see you all, right, John Hart? He does. He does. So good morning to you all. Good morning to you. Mr. Chad Free's in the house, everybody. Mr. Chad Free in the house. Good morning. Look at that man. He's ready to go. They had a scrimmage the other day, I heard. They got the script. Tate. There he is. Little man. There's Leo. Leo's hitting it hard. Another. He's one of my best administrators. He just crushes it every day. He just comes to the office and just really brings it all. So good morning to y'all. My name is Coach Brock Zevan, life coach, business coach, real estate coach, and a DAD. And for me, it's the calm before the storm, before I go to Disney. I'm not doing very, very well with it all. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm not doing very well. I can handle the Success Summit. You can put me in those type of elements, and then you throw me into Disney, and I just I don't know. I just struggle with it, but we'll find out. It'll be a story. It will be a story like no other, right, John? Look at John Root over there. He's driving. That guy, you don't know where he's going. You don't mess around with the government. You never know what this guy's doing. So, guys, we have a special guest today. And so on Figured Out Friday, we always bring on special people who have stories, people that somebody today, if you're doing something, I'm gonna ask you to kind of just like pause, reflect. I want you to really lean into today's story because this is somebody that I told her today. I said, you're going to talk to somebody today. You are going to make an influence in their life today. And she is best friends with Wendy, my Wendy. And I met Diane. I don't even know how long ago I met her. They went on a cruise. Wendy and her friends, I call them the Golden Girls, the Golden Girls. And they went on a cruise. And next thing you know, Wendy was telling me all about this girl, Diane, and how funny she was. And she's from New York. She's from New York. And I was like, oh, I like her already. Anybody from New York, I like. I like everybody. Let's just be honest. I like everybody. And so I started to hear more about this girl, Diane, this lady, Diane. And I was just like, huh. And then Wendy says, did you ever like talk to her about her story? And I'm like, no, not really. I mean, we kind of just had surface conversations because it was like they were just moving and shaking and always out and about, having a good old time. And I started to learn about Diane. I started to learn about her story and what her youth and her school and how old she was when, she was at school and just really amazing things. I was like, damn, I had no idea. So about 6 months ago, I was like, hey, Diane, I'd love to have you on the show. I'd love to bring you on and do a Figured Out Friday. No, Brock, no, I'm not going to do that, Brock. That's just not, there's just way too, no, I'm not doing it. And she really caught me by surprise because I was like, well, that's strange. Like, I mean, I didn't really think well, I did think of something of it, obviously, because I was like, damn, okay, I won't ask you that again. But we grew from that. You guys ever think, just envision yourself a seed being planted. And I planted a seed in her. She didn't realize it, and I didn't realize that at the time, but all of you are being planted a seed in some capacity. I planted in seed in Dee's head yesterday, and she sent me a text yesterday. I was just like, oh, but we did some watering. See, certain things that we don't want to hear, challenges, pain, uncomfortableness. God is putting a seed, like that's his way of watering you. And so Diane's been being watered for the last 6 months at a level that I can't even imagine. She came down to Key West, Florida at the Success Summit. And I went around and I knew she wasn't going to speak. So I had to, like, during the time period, I had to like go behind her and be like, Diane, I need you to talk. And it was like that moment that she grabbed the microphone. I had to like grab the microphone back from her. I was like, okay, enough now. But right, we all laughing because I was just like, look at her go. But she's growing. And so I asked her again, I said, would you mind are you being on the Figured Out Friday? Because I really feel like your story could help somebody. And she's like, I would love to. And to me, when Rebecca did her confidence, that was the first thing I thought of, Diane, was like that confidence that you're growing through. And many of you on here, from when you start to where you are today, are growing in confidence. In some capacity, in some way, you're leaning in. And so I want us today all to really lean into Diane's story, to lean in and to understand where she started and where she is today, to be on this show, to be on this podcast, to lean in and the confidence that she's just like, she's all in. She's in our high level coaching program. She is just one of those that just really, I've seen so much with her, and to see her and the Golden Girls and just it's just really cool. She's living life and she's enjoying life and she's growing in it. And she said enough is enough and she's really taking hold of it. So guys, do me a favor, put some fives in the chat because you know I like to put fives in the chat. Put some fives in the chat. Give her a high five. Give her some hearts. Give her some loves. Good morning, Miss Diane. How are you?
I had to unmute myself. I'm doing very well. Thank you. This is surreal for me, but I want to share two things. Number one, if anybody knows me or who's on a Zoom with me would know, I have a tissue box here just in case, because every now and again I'll start leaking from the eyes. I get filled with emotion, and Chad Free knows that all too well. When we first spoke, it was Niagara Falls. So if I hold up this, that means give me a moment. I'll bounce back shortly. And I'm doing great, man. I had an amazing morning sitting in gratitude, you know, with my Wonder Woman cup here, strongest woman alive. And I wanted to share this bird moment. Can I just dive in? Because, you know, you created a monster.
Listen, you and I got the microphone. I said my piece. It's all
Okay.
you. What do you have for lean into
I
us? What do
was
you got, Diane?
sitting out back on my patio, and I love my home. Wendy Smith sold it to me. And I'm here a year now, and I just love my backyard. All the birds are just, it's all beautifully, you know, foliage and trees and everything. And all of a sudden I hear in the distance, and if Paul is on here, he'll laugh. I hear birds and I hear them in the distance. And I look up and it's this big, huge sea of blackbirds. And I'm seeing this after I'm kind of going through what I'm going to say today. And it was awesome because it wasn't like some birds, it was countless amounts of birds. And then at the very end was this one bird, and this one little scraggly bird. And I'm like, that's me. I'm the scraggly bird in the back that's late to the show, but I showed up. So I don't know. To me, I was just like, oh my gosh, if my mom could send me anything, man, that was it. That was
Isn't it?
profound.
It's funny how the signs always come at the right moments when we're doing something big and
Oh,
things are going. And um, yeah, it's. I was always called the late bloomer. My mom always used to tell me, she's like, Brock, you're just a late bloomer. How many of you guys were like the late bloomers? Like there's like guys shaving, and I'm like, what shaving? Brock, you're just a late bloomer. You're a late bloomer. You're gonna be okay. And so sometimes that's what we have, but all it matters is we're showing up.
yeah.
And so you showed up today. Give
Yeah.
us a kind of like a 10,000 foot overview of like who you are for those that weren't able to be at the summit who don't know you. Kind of share with us a little bit about who you are, a strong lady, a strong woman in the business world, running different businesses. Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about yourself.
I have a very diversified background. And I don't know if it's because I get bored quickly or if I'm just on to the next thing, but my background is, well, I'm a cosmetologist licensed in 1991. Went to cosmetology school and loved it, adored it, always kept my license, even though I wasn't in the industry for seasons in my life. And then went on to paralegal school, became a corporate paralegal. and other practice areas as well. But it was always corporate law because I loved it, and I was good at it. And then, seasons in life changes. I started my own company, and then I was like, well, let's do another one. So I have two different companies, two different total industries, one in the beauty industry and one in aviation janitorial. So, and everybody, when I tell them what I do, they're always just so, wow. And I'm just like, no, not wow. It's just what I do. And I'm going to do more, but I'm not wowed by myself. And that's my issue. I need to maybe be more sit in my wow, because I'm just like, it's just what you do. You just do it.
Mm, so
So
true. And it's funny too, because when I heard what you did, I was like, aviation. Like I would not like, we're blessed in our life, especially myself, I could say, because like I meet so many amazing people. And when I was just like aviation and then like beauty, I'm like, those are two opposite ends of the
total.
spectrums.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then I learned more about what you do in the aviation side of it. And for those who want to know more about what she does, it's really fascinating. Just, just people's jobs and what they do.
Yeah.
So the show's theme is figuring it out,
Yeah.
figuring out moments in our lives that we don't have an owner's manual, and we find ourselves in situations that sometimes we're like, we reflect and like, how the hell did I get here? And more importantly, how the hell am I getting out of it? So walk us through maybe a moment, an impact that you had a figure it out moment in your life that cultivated you into the person you are today.
I think I'm going to go back a little bit because I'm going back to the 80s. Let me take a sip and I'll try to keep it non-therapy. But when in the 80s growing up, I was considered an at-risk kid. I think I'm the OG poster child of the at-risk kid. And I just walked to my own beat, just like that bird this morning. But I always showed up. I quit school at a very young age, and I was left back repeatedely. And I don't think it's because I couldn't do the work. It was just I was bored.
Why
And
don't you tell us what age? Because that really
yeah,
resonated with me. What age was that at?
16. I quit school in 16, but I was in 8th grade. So do the math. I'm hanging out I look like the mom in the classroom with these 13-year-olds, and it dawned on me a few weeks ago when we were all together and I was with your daughter, and I was like, how old are you? What grade are you going into? And I'm like, oh my God, I was like that little girl that I never realized what a little girl and innocent. And I'm like, I quit school in 16. And I remember you saying, don't get any ideas, Friel.
Yeah.
You know,
I was like, Brielle,
because
don't even think about it over there.
no, no, and she's not a that. But I I quit school at 16, and I just remember this moment where my principal, Mr. Gazano, who of course Wendy, I'm Facebook friends with, um, he says, do you sure you want to quit? You sure you want to just leave it? I remember him handing me the pen and he held it. Are you sure you want to quit? And I was like, absolutely. I just wanted this chapter to be closed. I just didn't feel like I fit in school. So I had odd jobs from there and didn't make anything of myself until my mom said, you got to do something with your life. Can we please go check out cosmetology school? And I was like, I would love that. But how are we going to afford it? We grew up from very humble beginning, like my mom raised 5 kids by herself. I know what welfare is. I know what that brick cheese is. And I probably still have a fond little association with that Velveeta kind of a cheese whiz vibe to it. But I'll never go backwards to that. But I appreciated it. So that moment in time was when I really knew that I had that entrepreneurial spirit, because in school I would sell gum because I had no money and I didn't know how to make money and there was no allowance for me back then. So I started selling gum. It was 1 pack for 75 cents, 2 for $1. And then sometimes people didn't have money, so I started issuing credit lines. And then sometimes when business was slow, I'd kind of bust open a pack and, hey, I got the watermelon hubba bubba, and kind of, it was almost, I felt like now I'm thinking it was like drug dealing, and then when the strawberry banana came out, bubble yum, it just, the game change. Then I had like competition from Roberto Rodriguez. So
Competition in
killing my
bubblegum.
margins. He went lower on me. And I'm like, so now I had that mindset. And I think a lot of
And how
entrepreneurs,
old were you?
I'm 14. I'm 14 and hustling. And the hustle was real. I mean, this life has been like a mix of survival and reinvention and just trying to figure it out. But I'm just always showing up. Might be messy, might be late, but just showing up all the time. So from there, that was my original moment of trying to just make it work, make money. And I did.
Isn't that fascinating when you kind of look back? I was telling Wendy the other day of just like my entrepreneur. So you did at least, stay with the gum. Mine was red solo cups. I would sell $3 cups at frat parties and at beer parties and,
That's
and keg
smart.
parties. And that was my way to pay my rent and pay my things. And I was 18. So here we are. We got bubble gum and red solo cups. And that entrepreneurship, that seed is planted. We don't know what the hell to do with the gift, but we
Smart.
understand, like we're getting into it in some capacity. And at that age, that's remarkable. I mean, I was just watching Sherry's reaction of you being like, yeah, so I used to, if they didn't have money, I would track it and I would add like a credit system. I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so fast forward, uh, not doing much with my life. I go to cosmetology school. And back then, it's not like today. By the way, if Becca Black is on here, I think I paid like $2,000 in beauty school then, which today it's probably like $20,000 to $30,000 in cosmetology school. So she would appreciate what I'm saying there. Back then, there was not a lot of mentorship. I was in a shampoo and set kind of a salon where it's just like very older women who come in once a week and I'm washing their hair and they get rollers. And I was just like, this isn't my vibe. If this is what I'm doing, I'm not doing this. It was very Golden Girls back then. So I stepped out of it and I switched gears. I needed, had my daughter at a very young age, beautiful blessing in my life. She's now 30. I have two grandchildren as well. I'm kind of squirreling a little bit, but I needed to get a 9 to 5. I needed to offer her more stability because that was my goal. Offer her a foundation, solid 9 to 5, and be home evenings and weekends because that to me was important. So I took a job at a law firm, and gosh, I don't even know, 1998, and that changed the game for me because I liked it. I liked being around more educated people, wealthier people, and because I didn't grow up in that.
Your
So,
environment.
yeah, so I study people who were already successful, and you do those things. So I stayed with law. I was in it since 1998. Fast forward, I move here. I take my 12-year-old daughter at the time, moved to from New York to North Carolina because that's where I'm in now. And I went to paralegal school, and I wanted to do more with it because I was good at it. And I fell into corporate law and I liked it. Then I met a man. So one day I'm forming this organization. Nobody wanted to meet with the client because he was a very intimidating man. And I said, I'll do it because I don't, like I'm, I'm just, what do I got to lose? I'll do it. I'll have fun with this one. And I walk into the room and name's Carlos, very intimidating man, lots of companies. I had to explain everything that I did. And as I'm telling him about, explaining the documents to him, he goes, can I ask you something? And I went, what? He goes, you like to read? And I thought he was being sarcastic because I was reciting a lot of what I prepared. And I said, yeah, I mean, is there an issue? And he goes, if you like to read, if I give you a book, will you read it? And I said, it depends on what it is. Is it Moby Dick? I mean, like, what am I reading? He says, make me a promise. And I says, all right, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I want you to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad
Mm.
because you don't belong here. He says, you have that entrepreneurial vibe. And I'm like, how the heck do you know that? Real recognizes real. He picked it up on me. He says, you don't belong here. Will you read it? You gonna read it? Are you gonna read it? I said, I'm gonna read it. And I read it. And then I read it again. And then I started YouTubing him. And I'm like, who's this Robert Kiyosaki fella? Nailed it. So, from there, I kind of just started thinking, what business am I going to start? What business am I going to start? And it just, man plans and God laughs, because I took on another job.
I love that. Say that again.
Man plans and God laughs.
Mm.
Man plans and God laughs. You think you got your plan, and then just life changes. I left the law firm that I was in. I worked for a solar energy company, but I was going in as a corporate paralegal. And the guy just kind of saw a little competence in me. And he says, I need you to be my personal assistant. And I need you to be my executive assistant and the office manager. And you're the go-to person. And I did it. And he had 2 aircrafts and a helicopter. And one of my jobs, not as a corporate paralegal, but as a personal assistant, is to go down to the hangar and load the planes. And you also got to help me find a detailing company to clean the planes. And you got to also find me. And he just kept on throwing all these tasks at me. And my husband at the time came with me. We went down. He has a background. He's an airframe and power plant technician. So he had a background in aviation. And we went down to the hangar because he's like a kid in Christmas. He's like, yeah, I want to see the aircraft. They have really nice aircraft. And as we're walking out, leaving, he says, talking to the pilot, he says, you're having a hard time finding someone to detail the planes. And I said, yeah, you want to get back into aviation? Boom. That's how Clean Configuration was born. He got certified with a company, being certified. He's just bona fide. When you're certified, you're bona fide. You know what you're doing. And he started cleaning the aircraft for the company, which worked out beautifully. And fast forward, everything just changed with that job, with different personalities of who I worked with. And I found myself unemployed. And I started growing Clean Configuration more and more. And he had to quit his job because it cost him money to not clean the aircraft. When you're in a position where it's costing you money to not take the side hustle, that's when you're ready to rock. And, the only way to take over the island is to burn the boats. And that's what we did. And it was scary. So we've been growing ever since. We've been doing this since 2017. Our main client is like big box corporations and managers of aircraft and just one-offs as well. But that's our main bread and butter.
Funny how you say burn the boats. Um, Somebody put it on here. I think it was Justine. Um, you know, many of us in our life, we get to that point. Mine was leaving teaching. Like I couldn't. So when I was hearing your story, I was like, oh my gosh, it's like, I mean, I've heard your story, but not at some of this in-depth level. And I remember that decision. Like if you really want to make it in real estate, you're going to have to leave teaching, but it's scary because it's a W-2, you have
Yes.
comfort, you got a retirement, you got all the things that's what we love in our life. We love comfort. We love stability. We love foundation. That's what you try to do with your daughter, not try. That's what you did with your daughter and all these things. But I love the line where you said, man plans and God laughs, because he's like, no, that's not what I have for you. I'm going to put you in these environments and you're going to do something with it. And you also came in and approached so many different things with your blinders off. You had listening ears. You were always like, wait a minute, what did you just say? What do you want me to do? And being uncomfortable, just like it was from where you were 6 months ago to the comfort and the confidence and conviction that you're giving us all here today. I feel it through the Zoom. How many of you feel it through the Zoom right here? Put a 7 in the chat. Put a 7 in the chat. If
So
you
funny you
feel it
say
in the
that.
Zoom right now, if you feel it in the Zoom, because I certainly do.
Yeah.
And so as I pivot in churn, is
Oh.
looking at the time here, what is it, Diane, that you're trying to figure out today? Like, what are you trying to figure out today that has you kind of up at night, working hard, grinding, and doing the things that you want to grow into?
I think, and thankfully I'm not up at night. Thankfully I've kind of learned how to control that thought process where I just literally, I'll see it, I'll shelf it, it's there tomorrow. I sleep solid 8 hours. I'm learning to let go of old versions of myself, and I'm really, coming to the summit was a game changer for me. I didn't know what I was walking into. That whole event, I was like, I'm at a mastermind, and I just never clicked that. I'm like, all these great people, they're so inspiring. And I said it in Key West. I felt like finally a small fish in a big pond with more knowledgeable fish floating around, like that to me that got me going, I'm focused on building peace and purpose now. I'm focused on scaling clean configuration, and coupled with that, I have a spray tanning salon that does very well. And there's just not enough Diane. So I'm trying to figure out, where does this booming little spray tanning business, by the way, no one needs a spray tan. That's not something, I need a spray tan. No, you need to go to the doctor. You need a tooth cleaning. You need a haircut, but no one needs it. And it does very well. And I really think that it's because of myself and my daughter and the vibe we bring, and people know, like, and trust us, and they're coming in very vulnerable and naked in that spray room. But I've seen this kid who's in junior high, and now I just sprayed her. She's going away to college, and now, it's crazy. Another one came back, and she was getting a spray tan for her baby shower, and I'm like, I remember spraying you for like junior prom. So it's just, and I'm kind of squirreling a little bit, but just, man, I'm stepping into my goddess right now. I'm in that beautiful chapter of my life, because I designed the path for it. Even though that might change, it's in God's hands. I'm so grateful. And when you're grateful, you can't be fearful. It just can't happen. Two different vibes. So that's what I'm doing.
That, as they say, faith over fear. And it is just letting go and letting God handle it and run with it, whatever that might be. As we conclude, my infamous question.
That went by quick.
It always does. It always does.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
The infamous question that I ask everybody at the very end is the one thing, because some of these people, it might be the last time we talk to them, might be the last time you have a conversation with them. It might be whatever it might, we know it won't be, because they'll be back. But what's the one thing that you want to leave us with today? Everything that you've gone through, grown through, and where you are today, what's the one thing you want to leave us with?
Don't disqualify yourself because of your past. It doesn't define who you are at all. If you could think it, you can dream it, you could be it. I have a tattoo that I got for my 50th 3 years ago, and she's clothed in strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future. It's Proverbs 31:25. And I didn't really know how I felt about that when I got it, but I knew I wanted that. And I wanted to be that. And I, when people see it, they go, oh, what does that say? And I'll recite it. And now I feel like I am it, She is clothed in strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future. It describes a woman of strength and virtue and faith, and who's well prepared for whatever life may bring. So just move with the cheese. If you haven't read the book, Move with the Cheese. Who Moved My Cheese? It's a great book, and it just be. Freak out.
I loved what you said there. It reminded me of something my mom used to say, and now it resonates when you put that tattoo on you. I don't know about you all, but I'm the oldest of 5, and my mom would buy my t-shirts a size bigger than me, and she would say, "You're going to grow into this." And just like that tattoo, you put it on you, and you're going to grow into that person that you put on your tattoo. And you're going to grow into and blossom into. And we all have this opportunity that we have to grow into ourselves, grow into the dream, grow into what resonates inside of us. We're just scared sometimes to let it out. But if you see it, just like on that tattoo, and putting my t-shirt on, it felt big, but I grew into it. And then eventually what happens? We become that person that we want to become, and we exude it. And then we outgrow it, and then we share it with other people, and it bubbles over. And so, Diane, I want to say thank you. Guys, put some love in the chat. Put some hearts in the
Oh,
chat for her sharing this morning and being a part of it. Put a 5 in the chat. Put a 5 in the chat if you got something out of today. Put a heart in the chat if you got something out of today. Look at all these 5s and hearts here.
thank
Diane,
you.
I appreciate you. I appreciate our relationship. I appreciate that Wendy, you know, growing us together and just seeing you and getting closer to you. So thank you so much for taking time to be with us here this morning.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Love you guys. Look forward to seeing you in Nashville in January.
There we go. Guys, I appreciate everybody taking time on this Friday, being with us here this morning on Figured Out Friday. Guys, if you want to know more about Diane, you want to reach out to Diane, we will put Diane's contact information in the chat. Feel free to text her, reach out to her, engage with her, lean into her because she's an amazing person. If you also like to watch the recording again, if you want to share it with somebody like you need to hear this. All right. You can go to my YouTube page, Brock Zevan's YouTube page. We'll have the recording there, as well as come to our Facebook group where we have a lot of engagements and different people. Brock Zevan's Mindset Motivational Coaching page. You go to that private Facebook page. You see all these beautiful people in there. Guys, I'll be back 8:15, and my background won't look like this. I'll be in Disney. So
Oh,
God bless me, and it'll be a little bit different. So maybe I'll find Mickey Mouse. Donald Duck will be with me. We don't know what I got going on. It could be at a pirate ship. We will see at 8:15 Monday. I hope you all have an amazing weekend. Be safe, be healthy. Until then, see you Monday morning. See ya.